Have you ever looked in the mirror and thought, why is English still so hard for me? I did too, until I found something simple and a little strange that flipped everything upside down. I remember one day I was sitting at a cafe with my English notebook open, coffee in one hand, pen in the other, head full of confusion. I had just spent 2 hours watching English videos and reading grammar rules, and still I felt stuck. Every word felt like a puzzle piece from the wrong box. I looked around the cafe. People were laughing, talking, making jokes in English, and I thought to myself, why is this still so hard for me? I wasn't lazy. I wasn't stupid. I was trying. But something just wasn't working. Then, just as I was about to pack up and go home, I heard a sentence from a video playing at the next table. You don't need to study more. You need to play with the language. That sentence hit me like a spark. Play? Not study? I didn't know it yet, but that one strange idea was about to flip everything upside down. I had all the tools: videos, flashcards, apps, grammar books. I studied every day, repeated the same lessons, memorized rules. But when it was time to speak, my brain froze. My words disappeared. It was like I knew English on paper, but I couldn't use it in real life. And that made me feel embarrassed. Like all my effort wasn't enough. Like maybe English just wasn't for me. But deep down, I didn't want to give up. I just needed something different, something real. A few days before that cafe moment, I had tried to speak English with a tourist at the train station. He looked lost, so I wanted to help. I walked up and said, hello, you are lost? Yes? He smiled but looked confused. I panicked. The words in my head didn't come out. Everything I studied disappeared. I pointed and said, map, you need help, place? He thanked me and walked away politely. And I stood there, feeling like a broken robot, embarrassed, frustrated, like English was a door I couldn't open, no matter how hard I pushed. On the outside, it looked like I was bad at English. But inside, I knew that wasn't true. I understood more than I could say. I had the knowledge, I just couldn't use it when it mattered. And that's when it hit me. English wasn't the problem. The way I was learning it was. I was memorizing but not practicing, studying but not connecting. I was trying to build a house without ever using my hands. That sentence in the cafe stuck with me. You don't need to study more, you need to play with the language. I didn't fully understand it, but I decided to try it anyway. That night, I talked to myself while washing dishes. This plate is blue. I am cleaning it. I don't like this sponge. It felt silly, like I was in a cartoon. But it made me laugh. And more importantly, it made me use English. The next day, I made up a ridiculous story using 5 new words I had learned. A tired dragon went shopping for spaghetti, but he forgot his wallet, so he cried. Was it useful? Maybe not. Was it fun? Yes. Did I remember those 5 words? Absolutely. I even started singing along to songs, not just listening. I paused YouTube videos and repeated lines with feeling. Say it like the actor. Feel it. Copy it. It became a game. A strange, messy, wonderful game. And slowly, I stopped being afraid of English because I was finally playing with it.
After a week of playing with English, something amazing happened. I was at the grocery store, walking past 2 teenagers talking. I wasn't trying to listen, but suddenly I understood them. Dude, this cereal is way better than the other one. I smiled. Just one sentence, but I got it. No subtitles, no translation. Just understanding. And later that day, I had a small conversation with a woman at the bus stop. She said, "The weather's nice today, right?" My heart jumped, but I didn't freeze. I answered, "Yes, very nice. Not too hot and no rain." She smiled and said, "Exactly." That was it. 2 sentences. But I felt like I had just climbed a mountain. For the first time, English wasn't a wall. It was a bridge. I was walking through the park when I saw a tourist looking confused, holding a map upside down. Normally, I would have looked away. Too scary, too risky. But something felt different. I walked up and asked, "Do you need help finding something?" He smiled with relief. "Yes, I'm trying to find the museum. I think I'm lost." My heart was racing, but I knew what to say. "No problem. It's 2 blocks that way, then left. You'll see a big fountain in front." He thanked me and walked off. And I stood there thinking, I just gave directions in English to a real person. No panic, no awkward pause, just communication. And it felt amazing. One night, I decided to try something totally new. I grabbed my phone, opened the voice recorder, and started pretending I had my own English podcast. I hit record and said, "Hello, everyone, and welcome to the most boring podcast ever. Today, I will talk about socks." I described my socks in great detail. Color, size, softness. I made jokes. I laughed at myself. It was ridiculous, and I loved it. I listened back, and yes, it was awkward, but I understood myself. The next day, I did it again. Different topic, new words, and slowly, those 3-minute fake podcasts became one of my favorite ways to practice. No pressure, no audience, just me, playing with English and getting better every time. A week later, I was in an elevator. Just me and a dog. The owner had stepped out for a second and the doors were closing. I panicked for the dog, so I looked at it and said, "Don't worry, buddy. You're not alone. I speak a little English." I don't know why I said it. Maybe I was nervous. Maybe I was practicing. But the dog just stared at me. And I kept talking. "We'll be fine. Just 2 quiet gentlemen on a short elevator ride." The doors opened. The owner stepped back in. She looked at me. I looked at her. "I was just talking to your dog," I said. She laughed. "He gets that a lot." And in that moment, I realized I had just made small talk with a dog in English, and it didn't feel weird. It felt normal. A few days later, I joined a small community event, a book club that welcomed English learners. I almost didn't go. I almost made an excuse. But I showed up. We were reading a short story. The woman next to me said, "I'm a little nervous. My English isn't perfect." And I smiled and said, "Same here, but let's help each other." During the meeting, I read a paragraph out loud, slowly, carefully, and when I finished, someone said, "You read that beautifully." I was shocked, not because they complimented me, but because I believed it. For the first time, I didn't feel like a language learner. I felt like a reader, a helper, a friend, a voice. English didn't make me feel small anymore. It made me feel connected. Sometimes I still think about that moment in the cafe when I almost gave up. I'm so glad I didn't, because what I found wasn't just a new way to learn English. I found a way to feel proud of myself, a way to grow without pressure, a way to turn fear into fun. And it started with one strange idea. Stop studying, start playing. If you've ever felt stuck, if you've ever felt like English is just too hard, I promise you it's not you. It's the method. So here's what I did, step by step, to turn everything around. You can start today. You don't need money or a teacher or perfect grammar. You just need curiosity and a little courage. Step 1. Talk to yourself out loud. Start small. In the kitchen, on a walk, in the shower. Narrate your life like you're the star of your own English movie. I'm brushing my teeth. I don't like this weather. Where did I put my keys? It sounds silly, and that's the point. You're not practicing to impress anyone. You're practicing to get comfortable. And the more you talk to yourself, the easier it gets to talk to others. Step 2. Create silly mini-stories. Take 3 to 5 new words and make up a ridiculous story. The weirder, the better. Example: a sleepy cat wanted to become a famous chef, but he only cooked fish. No one else liked it. Why does this work? Because your brain remembers fun. When you laugh, you learn. These stories don't need to be logical, just memorable. And now chef, fish, and sleepy are yours forever. Step 3. Copy with feeling. Choose a video, podcast, or song you enjoy. Pause it. Repeat what they say exactly how they say it. Be dramatic. Be emotional. Be loud. I'm not scared of anything. No way! That's amazing! Don't worry about sounding perfect. Worry about feeling it. Because when your mouth practices emotion, your brain learns expression. Step 4. Record your voice. Open your phone's voice recorder. Pretend you're a podcast host. Talk for 1 minute, any topic. Today, I'll talk about sandwiches. Then, listen to yourself. Notice how much you understand. Do this once a day. It's not about being perfect. It's about getting used to your own voice in English. Step 5. Play with people. Even a little. You don't need deep conversations. One sentence is enough. Hi, how are you? I like your shirt. Where's the bathroom? You can practice with a friend, a stranger, or, yes, even someone's dog. The more you play with these moments, the more you realize, I can do this. I am doing this. You don't need a perfect plan. You don't need perfect grammar. You need one small moment of courage. One sentence, one story, one conversation with a stranger, or a dog. That's where fluency begins. Not in a book, not in a classroom, but in your voice, in your choices. So here's your challenge. Say one sentence out loud in English right now. Anything. I'm learning English. I'm not giving up. Today's my day. You don't need permission. You don't need to feel ready. Just begin. Because English isn't something you wait to speak. It's something you become by speaking.
If you enjoyed this lesson, click here for another learning video.